Everybody, welcome to another review. So I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by Unprocessed. This is Angel. So the band's last album was 2023, and everything in between, which was honestly one of my favourite albums of 2023. It was so close to being my number one pick for the year, but I ended up giving it to Silent Planet because I just personally felt Silent Planet had a little bit more, I guess, just an edge to it, as I really enjoyed what they were going, but both albums were just kick-ass metalcore, for sure. And Unprocessed have been releasing singles 2024 to now, and I've honestly have enjoyed at least the 2024 material. They were quite fun, and now we've got a new album. I'm going to go straight into it and give you my opinion on what the new Unprocessed album is. So they start off with 111, which I think this song's fine. I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I just wish it was more memorable. Like, sure, they do the interesting guitar Polyphia sound, which was one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed Gold, for the kind of tamer aspect to that, and everything in between for incorporating it into a more metal sounding environment, which both albums are just really well made in my opinion. A lot of great songs, and I just feel like 111 in comparison to a lot of that just doesn't really do anything original, anything cool. The chorus isn't that great. I just think it's kind of a whatever song, and it's honestly, compared to like Hell and Rain, it's generally a weaker start to the record, but it should pick up. Fingers crossed. Sleeping with Ghosts. This song's a lot better. I think this one has some more memorable instrumentation. Love how this one's a bit heavier. But the only downside I have for this one is the chorus. I feel like the chorus has got good potential, but the mixing between the clean and unclean just sounds a bit off, especially on the last line of it. Like, it's just a bit weird that you have kind of these nice cleans and then just goes into the normal uncleans that a lot of this record has, and it sounds fine, but something just sounds a bit off about it. It just doesn't flow as well, or just have as nearly a concrete structure to it. So I think this one's a lot better than 111. I just wish the chorus was a bit stronger. But we get to Beyond Heaven's Gate, which I think was the last single before the album came out, and thank goodness this one is here. It's a much better song than the first two, in my opinion. I like the kind of calmer aspect to it. I love the fact that after the chorus, the guitars just mimic a very similar sound to Portrait from Gold, and it is awesome. I love the nod to it. This one definitely feels like it could be on the Gold record, and that's sick. Beyond Heaven's Gate just flows really well. I love the little bit of uncleans at the end of the chorus. The chorus is great. The melodies, the instrumentation. Beyond Heaven's Gate is definitely one of the highlights so far of the record. Speaking of highlight, we go into Sacrifice Me, which I absolutely love this song. It's one of my favourite Unprocessed songs, and it was one of my favourite songs of 2024. It's such a beautiful song. I love the aspect to it. It kind of feels a bit more Sleep Token coded, but it has more of the Unprocessed sound. What I noticed with the singles, though, is they didn't quite go for the elaborate guitars that the previous record did. I feel like they used that to be more flashy, but with tracks like Sacrifice Me, they're using kind of the more melodic aspect and other tones and instrumentals to really highlight a shift from that. And I think Sacrifice Me, if they had more songs that just didn't want to entirely focus on the guitar, because I know that's the main reason people really like Unprocessed. It's just how well on guitars Emmanuel is, as well as a lead vocalist as well. But Sacrifice Me, generally, I just kind of wish we had other songs like that. It doesn't do anything like insane with the guitars, but it doesn't need to, because it just builds its strengths from using other aspects to its songwriting, and that's why I think this one is a highlight, just like Beyond Heaven's Gate. Snow Lover as well, I love this one. It was another track of the week for me, like Sacrifice Me was. They're both really good. Snow Lover might be a little bit more on the simpler side. It feels more like a definite single choice, and it feels more like an anthem for them. But I love this one. I love the fact they have been giving vocal duties to other members as well, as I think it's the drummer who does the vocals. I'm not 100% sure, but I do like the fact that they're sharing it here, and it sounds great. Snow Lover is also quite catchy. It's nothing crazy of a song either, but I like it for what it is. Terrestrial is great. This is definitely like their attempt at making like the heaviest song they have, and I do like it. I definitely appreciate it for being one of the heavier songs in the discography, but I don't think it quite hits the same way some of the heavy songs off of everything in between. Like Law, I think, was intended to be the loudest, most aggressive song, and I feel like Law works because it has some of the best guitar work for it. The guitars on that is just absolutely insane. The riffs to that is incredible, and Terrestrial definitely has great riffs, but I don't think it has nearly the elements of what made Law catchy, and I think as a heavier song it just kind of feels like it's heavier for the sake of just being heavy, but I still appreciate what Terrestrial's doing. It's definitely a good song. Your Dress, this one's a bit more on the melodic side. About 1 to 2 minutes of the song is more electronic, but I love the way that they build up to the heavier aspect to it. It's a good song, nothing crazy either. I don't think this is a standout, but I definitely appreciate the aspect to it. Where I Left My Soul is one of the first very tame songs. I like the fact this one's a lot calmer. It's got a nice melody to it. I just honestly feel like they should have done a little bit more stuff like this on this record, instead of like doing elements of it and then kind of skipping out. It's like Beyond Heaven's Gate and Sacrifice Me are really good choices for that, and I kind of wish we had a bit more like that. But they definitely want to put the variety in for having tame songs and then also having the very heavy stuff. Like Terrestrial to this is definitely very different, and yeah, Where I Left My Soul, pretty good song. Again, I just don't think this one really pops out as much, but I still enjoy it. Solara featuring Zelly from Paleface Swiss. I did talk about this one on my tracks of the week, and I wasn't that impressed with it, and I still feel that way. I think it's decent with the guitar work. It definitely feels like a standard unprocessed track, but I think the feature is the one thing that kind of drags it down a bit. If it didn't have Paleface Swiss, it would just kind of be an average song on the record, so they make it stand out more, but for the wrong reason, I think. First Tongue is more of an interlude track. It's decent. I do like the fact they've been using this angel character to do the interlude stuff at the end of songs like 111, and you'll see this again on another song on the album as well. Perfume, definitely a tamer song. I like this one. It's melodic, it's great. If anything, I actually think it's actually pretty good, and it's one of the better tracks from the second half, because I'm going to be honest, second half is not really my cup of tea, and I'll explain why. With the next track, Head in the Clouds, it features Jason Butler from Fever 333, and I was dreading this because we have kind of a metal rapper sort from Paleface Swiss, especially with the new direction they've been going for. I kind of thought it would be a bit weird to have this new metal influence. Then we got a trap rap metal vocalist who's pretty much rap metal, and I just didn't like it. I gotta be honest, I actually think this is one of the weakest unprocessed songs. The rap I just don't think works, and the instrumentation, the guitars, the very zany riffs they go for, I just feel like it just doesn't really do anything for me. It's definitely one of the weakest features, and I feel like when they had features before, they've had members of Polyphia, and that worked because Polyphia is their inspiration, and they fit in the same realm, whereas you're just kind of pushing a more new metal sound that doesn't really resemble much of the unprocessed line of sound. I don't know, I just don't think this one sounded good at all. The chorus was also really boring. The song itself, just being as long as it is, I just felt it was just one of the worst things they've done, and it is disappointing. I actually thought the Paleface Swiss song would be my least favourite, but no, I actually think this just managed to succeed that in every way, unfortunately. I just couldn't get into this one. And then we had Dark Side Ink and Complete. This was the second single. I did quite like this one. I like the way that they used the kind of strings in the second half to kind of build up. I kind of wish we had more moments like that played with the song structures, because I feel like a lot of it just does the same thing and doesn't really push the ante much. A lot of the songs just kind of feel like standard structure to me, especially on the second half. But Dark Side Complete is great. I think this is a nice way to end the album off, and I think, if anything, this and Perfume are definitely the highlights of the second half. 100%. The second half is quite underwhelming. There's not really many standout tracks on this bit. Like I said, it's just those two. Maybe Where I Left My Soul, if you want to count that in the second half. But the first half, you just had like pretty much almost banger after banger. So I feel like this album is definitely front-loaded, which I guess was also similar to the previous album, because I felt like some of the weaker stuff was the last couple of tracks, like I Wish I Wasn't, Abysm, Purgatory, whereas the first half had Hell, Law, Thrash, which already was just an amazing 1, 2, 3 album run, and then you had more like Die on the Cross of the Mare, which is incredible, and then yeah, more good shit on there as well. But no, I feel like having more songs kind of dampened the consistency and the quality a little bit of the record. But yeah, that's pretty much all the 13 tracks, and I don't think this album hits nearly as well as the previous, which is unfortunate because I thought they would kind of experiment out from doing the kind of elaborate guitars, but keep elements of it. But I feel like they try to do a lot of what they done on the previous album, mixing in with gold, and I don't think it really gives us anything original. Even and everything in between felt like it played with its song structure and more, and the writing felt a bit better. The choruses just punched a lot harder, like Hell's chorus, I think. Minus tracks like Sacrifice Me and Beyond Heaven's Gate, I'd say Hell tops any of them with its chorus, and this is the same with tracks like Thrash as well. I just feel like the writing was a lot more intricate and just had a lot more fun ideas, and also a lot of the time they do repeat a line for the breakdown, and I know that they did that on the previous album, but I just noticed it being a lot worse on this album. But there you go. I think that's all I need to say about the album. It's already a long review because I've been waiting to go into Unprocessed, but where I'm going to rank this one, I've been thinking quite hard because I do really want to like this one more, but I'm going to have to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Yes, it's still a good album, and as I said, I might have made all the songs sound a bit worse than they are, but I think the only real blunders is the 2 feature tracks, and Solara's not even that bad. I just feel like it's the feature that brings the song down, whereas Fever 333, it's almost entirely Jason rapping for most of it, and a lot of it was just not really going to work in the first place. But then you have so many good songs on the first half, which I think brings it to around being an enjoyable experience, but one I wish they kind of thought about a bit more carefully. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.